I'll tell you what, folks, I must buy a really crap newspaper. I must, honestly, I really, really must. For about 3 or 4 days last week, all they were talking about in it was the bounty in celebrations. You know, the little bounty sweets in there. They have about 6 or 7 sweets. And they were decrying the fact that there were too many bounty in there. I think a couple of well-known people had moaned because they said they have the old celebrations calendar. Is it the Advent calendar? Well, the one at Christmas anyway, I think it is. The old calendar there. And the first 4 squares were all bounties. People were complaining. And they were saying folk hate bounty. They really, really hate it. I thought to myself, I don't. Quite like bounty myself. In fact, I like it a lot. I always get stuck in my teeth. It takes me 20 minutes to clean up my teeth. But I love it, to be honest with you. Well, more about that in a minute. Anyway, that was day 1 I read that, and after about 3 or 4 days, they'd done a poll on what was and what wasn't liked in celebrations. I'll tell it to you. It's not what I would pick, I'm telling you now. Don't know why I'm bringing this up, but I just couldn't believe it. The number 1 favourite throughout the country, in a box of celebrations, or a calendar for that matter, is Maltesers. Couldn't argue with that. Don't mind a Malteser at all. Don't mind it at all. Number 2, Galaxy. Number 3, Galaxy Caramel. Number 4, Marathon. Show me age there. Snickers. Snickers. Marathon. Snickers. Number 5, the said item, Bounty. Number 6, Twix. Number 7, Milky Way. And bringing up the rear, the good old Mars bar. The old Mars bar. Now, I'll give you my thoughts on it. Not for what it's worth, and it's not worth nothing, to be honest with you, really. Maltesers, no problem with it at all. These 2 that I wouldn't have had in there at all, these 2 chocolates, they'd have been 6th and 7th for me, and they're both 2 and 3. Galaxy and Galaxy Caramel. Galaxy I'm not particularly keen on, and Galaxy Caramel just makes things worse as far as I'm concerned. Bit too sickly for me, so I'd have them at the back. They'd be back numbers, along with Milky Way, which is number 7 anyway. Now, when I was a kid, I used to like a Milky Way. Used to like them a lot. But I think, and I might be wrong, I think they made totally differently nowadays. I think they have been for 15 to 20 years. If they've not, I liked them as a kid, and now my palate's different, and I just feel them to be very sickly. I never used to think that Milky Way. I'm sure they're made differently. I'm sure they are. If they're not, then I can't understand how I liked them. But I think they used to be a lot better than they are nowadays. Maltesers, no problem with that. Galaxy, I'm just not over keen on it. You know, I don't know what it is. I think it's the fact that it's milk chocolate. I much prefer a dark chocolate than a milk chocolate. And I just find that Galaxy a bit boring. And Galaxy with caramel in, again, a bit sickly for me and a bit boring at the same time. Snickers, no problem with it at all. Don't mind it at all. Bounty, I love. But again, I will say, for all I like a Bounty, I much prefer the dark chocolate one. Many shops don't sell it. You can't often get the dark chocolate one. But I prefer the old plain chocolate as opposed to the milk. Much prefer it. Twix, like them a lot. Mars bar, love them. They're not as nice in there, but I love a Mars bar. I've said many a time, I don't know why it is, I just love. I mean, they might be 100 years old now, Mars bar, 150 years old, whatever they might be. I'd have loved them to have a special month when they celebrated X amount of years old. And what they did was, what we're going to do the Mars bar from the 70s, and you're only going to pay 50 pence for it. It'd be like a brick. It'd be like an house brick. It would. You really could work, rest and play on it. It was a big thing. It was a deep thing. It was a thick thing. Ooh, it was great. And you really would be value for money nowadays. You get a Mars bar now, there's no size to it. No size to it. It's all you probably paid 60, 80 pence, a pound, whatever it might be. It's a right rip-off, as is most chocolate nowadays. I'd love to get an old Mars bar and show the kids what they're missing. In the 70s and 80s, God, we loved a Mars bar. A Mars bar, when I was a kid, a Mars bar, and remember the bottles of Coke, none of this low-fat crap and all that. When Coke was Coke, when men were men, and all that kind of stuff, in the old little bottle there. God, oh, unbelievable. A bottle of Coke and a Mars bar, you couldn't whack it. You couldn't whack it at all. Don't get me wrong, I love the crisps. I love them to the death of me. I have too many crisps nowadays, I always have done. But a Mars bar was more of a treat because it was more expensive and it was bigger and work, rest and play, like I said. Why I've gone for that from celebrations, I don't know. But Bounty, nothing against it. But I prefer the dark chocolate one. Galaxy 2 and 3, I don't get that at all, folks. And now you can have Mars number 8 out of 8, so I don't get that either. No, I think somebody's telling some porkies there, or the nation are definitely not like myself. We've definitely got different chocolate habits, the nation and moi. Moi? Where did I get that from? Anyway, I'll leave it at that. What's your favourite? What's your favourite celebration and what's your worst? Tell me your favourite and your worst. That's all I want to know. Well, you can do the full rundown if you want. Do all 8. What would my 8 have been? In fact, no, I'll give you my 8. I'll tell you what, I'll give you my 8. No. I might have Maltesers up there. Well, go Maltesers. Maltesers. Snickers. Twix. Bounty. Galaxy. Milky Way. Galaxy Caramel. I think I'll go that way. Did I put Mars in there? I think I did. If I didn't, it'd be about 4 or 5. Proper Mars bar probably be number 1, but they're not proper anymore, and you don't get the full effect of the old Mars bar in them little dinky sweets. You just don't get it at all. Good God, I've made that last 6 minutes. Don't know I've done that. Talking drivel. I'm good at it though. Good at drivel. Oh, I'll get what's it in it. I'll get a degree in it, diploma if they bring them out. Diplomas in drivel. I'm your man. Don't worry about that.